In a world filled with conflict, in a universe comprised of differences, there's one thing that absolutely everything shares in common. We all exist. Including two guys named Jack and Michael, who like to chat about that very thing over a good cup of coffee. Let's pay them a visit, shall we?
Existence Brewing.
Oh, wow, look at those. Those look pretty good. Those look nice and tasty. Yeah, I think I'll have one of these with my drink today. You guys put these right by the cash register, don't you? Just to pique my interest. That's right. That. Oh, hey, Jack. Hey.
Don't you know that eating that can give you extremely large breasts? Oh my God, it's too late. Sorry, one of my favorite lines from Real Genius. You got to admit that's fairly genius in a movie that has actually got genius in the title. Have you seen that movie?
I never have been able to watch that movie.
Really? What is it with that movie? Maddie fell asleep during that movie. I love that movie. I think it's fantastic. I've always loved that movie.
I've been trying to watch it since you brought it up last, and I could not find it.
Years ago.
I could not find it on any streaming platform, and I refused.
As in trying to watch it, you mean you've been attempting to view it, but have been unsuccessful in procuring it to watch.
I do not.
I tried to watch that several times, and I can't get through the first 10 minutes.
Not at all. And why is it that there's certain movies that have escaped the streaming world? Have you noticed that?
Real Genius should be findable, I would think. It was on YouTube for free for quite a while. It was on Amazon for free for quite a while.
I'll have to look for it again.
I had no issues finding it. So if you don't want to watch it, that's fine.
No, I was trying to watch it, but then I ran into the paywall. But don't you find that odd that, like, out of all the things that I subscribe to, which is numerous, I probably subscribe to 4 different platforms, there are some movies that they've just, for whatever reason, decided that you have to pay the one-time viewing fee.
Here we go with intellectual property again, one of my favorite subjects to rail on, speaking of rails, because the notion of anyone owning any idea, if you know anything about the Akashic record and the theory or really prevailing truth that all things are already known, we just have to pick them like ripe fruit when they're ready. That's how all the great composers saw it. You know, Mozart said he never wrote a note in his life. It all came from somewhere else. Tesla said everything that he did came from somewhere else, and it was this Akashic record, as it's been called, described as,
unfortunately,
where all of the things that are possible are already floating around, and they literally just land on you like a butterfly sometimes, flittering about. It's not as though you create them, and that's the ego of man, or the ego of the human condition taking over. And so therefore intellectual property would say, I drew The Simpsons, I invented The Simpsons, and so therefore everything that The Simpsons do or say, or anything that would even be a likeness or potentially look like a Simpsons character, it belongs to me, and I get all rights, and I get all the money from everything, and that whole game. So I know the one movie that I ran into this with and did some reading about it, because I was very curious, like you are. Why can I not find this movie to stream? This was not I can't find it to stream and not for free. This is I couldn't find it to stream at all. And the movie was Cocoon. And I thought, well, it's got to have something to do with the damn studio not releasing the rights to something that's 40 years old and has Hume Cronin, as an old man and all these
Walter Brimley.
You know what it had to do? Wilford Brimley. God rest his soul. I hope God's going to send him back down pretty soon. He's just like, Wilford, I've just about had enough of your shit. It's like, well, I've just about had enough of yours, G. Don't call me G. I told you.
That mustache is crazy. I can't even believe that I would create something that obscure.
Hornswoggery. They didn't want to release it. It wasn't because of their parsimonious ways. They didn't want to get rid of it without getting another shilling or a dime, or It had nothing to do with the actors or the rights to the film. It had to do with the score, the film score, which was produced apparently under a different set of domain laws than was the actual motion picture itself, as in the moving pictures in the movie. So therefore, the score and the movie are separate in the eyes of intellectual property laws. And because the score, the film score, had not been cleared to be used as public, for public dissemination, even if it was for a pay system, it's just flat out not available until they can sort that out. And what lawyer do you think is picking up that ball in 2026?
None.
Let's, let's go back to court and see if we can get Cocoon streaming live on, even
James Horner was the composer of the 1985 film Cocoon.
James, don't call me Jack Horner, which, by the way, was also the fictitious name of Burt Reynolds as the porno producer in Boogie Nights.
Was it?
Just saying. Oh,
yeah,
Jack Horner, a Jack Horner production, a Jack Horner film.
Jackie Treehorn? That was the other producer in The Big Lebowski.
Speaking of Jacks, this is a great jump off.
Yeah.
I've been watching this fella that does, I got to admit, he's a little annoying, but I'm annoyed by most vloggers and podcasters. Forgive me. It's just a thing. Mm-hmm. He always dubs himself when he starts. He lets you know that he's an actor and an ex-radio disc jockey. And I just think, okay, I'm not sure why that's important.
How is that germane to the
exactly
context of the...
Because the shows that he produces are all nostalgic, and the ones that I've been watching are the 10 worst shows of 1985, 1986, 1987, 1972, 1995, whatever. And he bases it on the Nielsen ratings and has his little system and everything. But many of these shows, admittedly, I have never heard of, and many of them feature well-known actors or actresses, people that went on to be well-known, I should say. Some of them actually featured at the time, A-list celebrities, but the show just bombed. And there's also some really great intro, themes to these too. And I kind of collect those or look for those if they're of the right genre. But anyway, did you know that it ran for 2 seasons in 1986 and 1987? On ABC, there was a comedy drama television series called Jack and Mike. But Jack was a woman. It was short for Jackie, who was played by Shelley Hack. She was a newspaper columnist for the fictitious Chicago Mirror newspaper. And Tom Mason played Mike, a restaurant owner who operates 2 of Chicago's trendiest clubs. And they're married, and their careers often interfere with one another. And merriment and frivolity and mayhem ensued. 16 episodes in all over the 2 seasons of that. But I was watching one of that guy's presentations, and I'm just like, Jack and Mike, hey,
that's us.
We do that. Yeah, I got that going on right now. So, but
people also searched for the film Jack and Mike.
Yeah, we always. In fact, that should probably be at least one of our side features. Call it "People Also Searched For." Maybe actually that's a great first. I know a guy that's going. I work with a guy that's going on a first date tonight. He just had a little fling with a gal. I'm giving away all of his love life over the podcast. But maybe that's a great first date shirt. Just plain white or with like a red ringer, tee with the sleeves and the collar and just big red bold letters. People also searched for ... That way when she walks up, she's like, "Oh, are you?" And just point at the shirt.
Yeah.
"Are you Phil?" It's just like, "People also searched for." "You are Phil." "Oh, that's so funny, Phil. I'll never sleep with you now, but I'll get a free meal out of this." "Hi, how are you?"
Oh, man.
You ever gone on a blind date?
No.
Don't. Are we going to let me officially vent first, or?
All right. Should we do this?
Yeah, let's open up the ventilation shaft. I'm ready.
Ventilation shaft.
Okay, now I was just told today that the clock for ventilation shaft varies.
There are no
So
rules here.
I'm
There
not
are
on
no
a
rules.
hard and fast timer. I don't get like 2 minutes or 3 minutes every time. Michael is the judge of ventilation shaft. So he just lets me go. And then when he thinks he's had enough, then it's time to rein me in. And I hear the special noise and then that's it.
All right.
I'll try to keep this short. So I'm sitting at home. I'm watching television, streaming, as everybody does these days. It's YouTube or Netflix or God knows what, something like that. And on comes a commercial. And it features a young girl of probably 7, 8 years old, perhaps, all, looking cute in her little outfit, driving through the woods. It looks like the kind of woods that you'd go to grandma's house in, except instead of skipping through the woods and trying to, avoid vicious animals that might make attempts to kill you, like in the fabled story, she's driving with her mother in an extremely fancy and expensive SUV. All right, so mom's in the front seat, she's in the back seat, and she's got her imagination on. And as they're driving through the woods to grandma's house, or probably to some bullshit like Bluebird camp that costs $5,000 a day, because we can clearly see that they don't have any issues monetarily in life, the young lady spies a rainbow over the forested horizon. And she immediately becomes starstruck. And we then flash to a moment where the SUV stops for some kind of a family picnic, replete, I should say, with all of the different pâtés that she already prefers at the age of 6 from kindergarten, and, the Gucci basket and the whole set that her mom just picked up from fucking Saks Fifth Avenue, right? And she proceeds to try to take the rainbow home with her, tugging on the violet stretch, and then tugging on the cyan, and then the magenta, and then the yellow. And she finally loads the rainbow, and off they go. And I just about had a heart attack in anger. Are you kidding me? By the way, this SUV is the Genesis GV80. So it's one of these newfangled SUVs that you plug in, and you can only go just so far before you plug it in again. But it's okay that it costs, $190,000 because you're earth conscious, because you plug it in. And you also look better than all your friends because you plug yours in, whatever that is. Bougie, bullshit, garbage fucking message. Hate, hate, hate. Jack Hansen upset. Little girls should not want to steal rainbows and take them home with her. Only rich, bougie, asshole, plutocrat families would raise a child that would want to see a natural wonder and stick it in their fucking pocket and take it with them. I'm pissed about it, and I don't ever want to see it again. Am I out of time? Because I think that's pretty much it. All right, there. See,
black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Yeah, black fucking eyes is right. Black souls on these people. Shame on them. So there, I'm done now. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, God. There's got to be a lesson in there to say, no, we don't own the rainbows. Rainbows are there for everyone to see and enjoy.
Yeah, see, that's what you would say.
I know. That's why I'm so emphatically pissed about it. But what would you say? Is that you wouldn't be worried about that?
No, we would say something like, well, you can't get the rainbow. It's not real. But see,
it's very real. You can see it's right there.
Yeah.
It's not tangible.
It's not tangible. Yeah, is what I meant.
But don't you think when you're trying to sell an SUV, this sends a terribly rotten message? I mean, it's just like parents who have enough money to drive the Genesis GV80 can supply their children with anything, including non-tangibilities that all people should be able to see and enjoy. Next up, it'll be the fucking moon. She's going to kill the planet trying to get the moon down here.
That goes to the consumerism, doesn't it? That plays on the consumerism chord.
Absolutely killed me. And I know I've been accused of looking for things that are negative before. I'm sorry. this to me is not one of those times. This is seeing through the veil of the Genesis GV80 commercial makers garbage.
It's true. And it also
Vomit.
goes to the idea that if you can see it, you can have it.
See, perfect. Now you're thinking just like they are, because that's what they're talking about in the boardroom while they're making this dreck.
Yeah, you see
is they're
this?
saying to themselves, so here's an idea. The old Red Riding Hood gag, right? Except instead this time, the little girl, she's riding in the back seat. She's, of course, decked out in all the latest bows and bangles and everything. And then her mom's driving along in our vehicle, of course. Looking shiny as ever, like a knight. All right,
Yes.
gallantly, just going through the forest there, going up to the tower and everything. And then the child spots, I don't know. And then, Johnson, say something. You're about to be fired anyway. A rainbow, sir? A rainbow! Good God, man, we may keep you after all. Yes, a rainbow. And the little girl gets to have it. She just, insists on it because her mother drives the Genesis GV80. Oh, you're going to play it. You found it, didn't you?
Oh, wow. It's kind of got a UFO.
There she is, tugging on the colors. I can hear her.
Yeah, she's like fighting the rainbow.
Wish the rainbow would bash her in the head and teach her a lesson,
There's
quite
more
frankly.
room for imagination in the 3-row GV80. Welcome to Genesis.
See, and there's ads like that just don't really hit the mark because I don't understand what having to do with this knockoff brand vehicle imagination has anything to do with other than
You know what I'm imagining?
What?
My driveway without a Genesis vehicle in it ever. That's what I'm imagining. So no sale. You failed. And that's what I always love to say when companies spend millions and millions of dollars to advertise at me. I remember I've probably talked about this before, but I'll say it again because it's an applicable moment. I used to do this morning show bit with this gal here in town on the country station of all things, but we kind of had a thing we clicked. And so we did this thing and it was funny bits and 99% of them, just like our stuff, not staged at all. We had no idea what we were going to talk about or very little idea. We would just go in and wing it and out it would come. And I remember one morning it was Super Bowl season or there was a lot of new commercials on. And I just felt like being me that morning instead of doing my job. And I looked at her, open mic live, and I just said, hey, have you seen the ad for the new BMW or the new Lexus 850 or whatever the hell it was, something like that? And she just said, no. And I said, yeah, it didn't work. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, I didn't buy one. It didn't work. They wasted their fucking money. The whole point of spending millions of dollars was to get me to buy one. It failed. I didn't buy it. You lose, Lexus. You lose, BMW. I didn't buy your product. Fuck off. I love it. See? Because to me, that's a really simple little routine. But everybody goes, what's he talking about? What I'm talking about is remembering who has the goddamn power in this whole equation. You, and the consumer, has the power. Stop being led around so much by everything. I had a hard day yesterday because someone gave me a compliment. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but just let me frame my working world for you. I've been doing what I do for 25 years in the same place. And don't get me wrong, it's a fine place. It's a good place. It's very Shangri-La-ish. We have more crime now than we used to. We have more people now than we used to, but it's still a really good place to live. And I learned that having lived somewhere else briefly in the Deep South for a year. That place was dirty and crime-ridden like you wouldn't believe. So I feel fortunate to be here and still working here, but I work as a news program host predominantly. I still do, my disc jockey stuff. So I had I guess I've had an interesting toggle this week because I had one of these things happen on the FM side today, which is the disc jockey position, and the other one happened on the news show yesterday. So on the news show yesterday, during the pop quiz, we call it, it's not uncommon for people to call up, and when they don't have to get the answer right, we still give them a prize because, again, it's Mayberry radio. So they're very nice people most of the time, and I have my regulars, and then I have newbies that call. And when the newbies call, very often they want to say how much they enjoy the show. And this person called yesterday, a man, and right on cue. I've got his info, and I said, well, thanks for calling. And he stopped me. He said, oh, well, hold on a minute. Before you hang up, I just want to let you know how much I really enjoy your show. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much. And for whatever reason this time, I decided to poll him. I said, so anything in particular you like about it?
You can never go further than that.
Think we're doing well? Like to hear more of? Like to hear less of? And he paused for a moment. And then he said, well, I'd like to hear from less Democrats, that's for sure. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Thanks so much for the call.
See?
Click. And then it hit me.
You took it too far.
No, it hit me. I think I was meant to take it too far because this was an epiphany for me. It hit me. I am going to be remembered. If something doesn't break for me in the wild, like if Existence Brewing doesn't start getting more listeners or something. And if it doesn't, that's fine. At least it's out there and people will know, it's sort of sitting there in the time capsule for people to discover later on. But I immediately realized I am considered the guy that hosts the conservative news talk show
in
the area. And therefore, I am undoubtedly of the same ilk. I am of MAGA cut. And you know me, not political in the fucking least. Could care less about the right, the left, anything that either one of them are doing. I have never voted in my life. I never will.
You're like the anti-MAGA.
I mean, and yet I'm very proficient at what I do. I'm very good at what I do. And I'll say that. And I very much appreciate compliments because I know people will toil for years in absolute shitty jobs, waiting tables at the Cheesecake Factory for 10 years and never hear a kind word. I mean, I do appreciate the compliments. And I know that what he's basically complimenting me on is that ability to read news proficiently and efficiently and to give the weather with some kind of dynamic voice, intonation, or color. I know he's complimenting me on my job, but it's being framed in a context that's starting to really bother me because I don't want my legacy to be that guy. I don't want to be perceived as that person. And so there's got to be a breakout that's going to happen for me. I mean, I literally, when I took the call, I was like, you were just giving a compliment, Jack. And I feel like walking out of the fucking building and never coming back. And when my bosses call me like this morning, where are you? Are you okay? Did you get by? Nothing. Literally just gone, drop the mic drop, out forever. And it was tough. I mean, that was a tough moment. It was tough to receive a compliment about you do your job really well and then feel like that on the butt end of it.
Yeah, you can't go much further with listeners than just thank you.
And usually I don't, but like I said, I'm an all things happen for a reason guy. You know that. Everything happens for a reason.
You wanted to peel back the onion just a little bit more.
There's no doubt that I asked that question so I could field that response so that life, God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, could just go, how do you feel now, asshole? And it's just like, God.
Well, you realize that you're like the opening act for, what is their name?
No, I don't even want to talk about them. I'm not going to give them airtime. They're two of the most wretched human beings on the planet.
You're the opening act.
They're not even smart. They're, it's not like we're talking Lex Luthor and Mussolini here. We're talking about two idiots that just spew the latest platitude from one side of the political equation every day for 3 hours on the radio and get away with it and make millions of dollars. And it's just the sick, sad world that we live in because I feel like, I'm interested in giving people the axioms that might matter a little bit more, seeing through some of the veils of this bullshit. I am not a perfect person. I've never professed to be. I'm not even close. You're never going to find me feeling righteous or anything like that. But I don't know, maybe you'll find me feeling righteous a little bit, but not to the extent where I'm not going to be aware of it. I think I'm pretty cognitive. Anyway, it bothered me.
Listeners are weird, man. And I think that's the thing, though, that you run the risk of when you're on the radio. And I think when you're producing anything of creativeness is like, the audience is going to absorb it maybe in a different light than maybe how you feel like you're projecting it. You know what I mean? And I think that's like, it would be like your favorite movie of all time, the director coming up to you and saying, what is it that you really enjoyed about this story? You know what I mean? And your view of it as a listener or a viewer is different than maybe what they went through producing that film. And I kind of feel like that to a certain degree, it's kind of like the audience in many ways is very superficial to what it is that you do.
Well, so fast forward then to today.
Yeah.
And we'll get into what happened today. So today, and realize this, half of why this bothered me, because really criticism is never fun to take, but I feel like I deal with criticism pretty well, especially after 25 years in the business, because people sometimes, as I was once told by a very wise person that I worked with in management, said, Jack, there are people sitting on the other end of the radio waiting to be offended. And, I got it, which means they're sitting there waiting to complain about something. Just like a person will go to a restaurant and everything can be perfect, but they're going to wait to pick on the one thing that wasn't quite right. And then that's all they're going to focus on. So I understood that remark when it was made to me. So that said, I got one of those today about something that I said yesterday. So here's what I said yesterday, just so you know. It was one of my little bits that I do. It's called Headline Time. And I take a headline, an actual headline from a newspaper, or these days, typically something offline. And then off of the headline, making, no further references to the story or not reading the story, I just make a quick quip off of that. We just do a little quick gag off of that, okay? And so this headline, I don't recall what it said verbatim, but it said something about a Chinese car company has invented a driver's seat toilet that's intuitive or something, or voice-activated driver's seat toilet, okay? That was the headline. Chinese car company invents driver-activated toilet, in-seat toilet, something like that. And the gag was, well, if you ask me, I think most people would imagine that any car made in China would be worth taking a shit in. And then I have the flush sound effect. And of course, shit is bleep, but you can clearly tell that's what I said.
Yeah.
Immediately afterwards, because I know when this aired, which was around 6:43, 6:44 p.m., 6:47 p.m., here comes this email that I got shared today from this person. Named after a fruit, I might add. I'll just say it because fuck it. Their name was Peaches. No fooling. Their name was Peaches. And because there was a legitimate last name attached to this, like Johnson or something. It was like Peaches Johnson or Peaches Erwin or something. This fucking person's name was Peaches. Now look, to each their own. Your parents were love children, sleeping in the orchard fucking and having babies out there in the peach orchard. That's great. Your fucking name is Peaches, okay? So where's Herb would be my first question. Where the fuck is Herb? What did you do with him? Is he in the trunk? Is he dead? Because Peaches and Herb always go together like peaches and cream.
Yes.
So Peaches calls me a racist.
Kind of like Captain and Tennille.
Peaches calls me a racist. Peaches says, and first of all, I don't mind being called a racist because it's the most easy thing, and this is really what I want to kind of talk about, is the platitude of being called a racist. This bullshit thing where we've got these people running around that, if I just call them out.
It's a trigger word.
Then I look like $1 million to the world. I'm redeemed for every bad fucking thing I've done in the last couple of months, which is a lot probably, Peaches. I've been watching you, of guys keeping a fucking eye on you, Peaches. So he's just, she or he, I don't even know what it is, going to throw out the easiest fucking thing in the 21st century to throw out at somebody. You're a racist. That remark about the Chinese car was a racist remark. You're a racist. Grow up. That's what they said. Grow up and realize. And here's the thing that really got me, though, was the logic behind why, to Peaches at least, it was a racist-driven remark. Grow up, they say, and realize that 99% of the things we use in the world today come from China, so they can't be all that bad. Hey, Peaches, I got news for you. Shit comes from China. Stuff manufactured in China is a piece of fucking shit. You ever hear of Temu? You ever hear of Shein? I have clothes from there. They're made of styrofoam. They're made of fucking styrofoam. I keep them because they're cool and I like cool clothes. But I'm telling you right now, Peaches, if that's the actual onus for why I'm a racist, because you can't allow me to distinguish that a country, oh, you meanie, it's like, oh my God, come on, you can do better than that.
It's a charged word. I feel like maybe we should have used this again. It's like
well, you can play it, man.
No, we're getting a twofer on this one. No, I agree with you. So
I didn't say I'd limit it to one per episode.
Okay, so one of the things that I was going to bring up, and this is totally organic because Peaches has just nailed something that I really had been kind of brewing over, and I don't know what it was that spurred this. But I do feel like there has been kind of an overuse of certain words.
Yes.
And almost a
hackneyed. They're called hackneyed words, if you will. Yeah.
Racism is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Sexist is one of them. Bigot is another one.
Narcissist. Everybody thinks they know a narcissist when really the clinical definition is quite out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Narcissism is one of them.
Systemic. Throw that one in there too. We never had that one until recently as well. Systemic.
A lot of buzzwords. And I guess the reason I would say that we all need to kind of take pause is I think that the true faction or the true root of the word and meaning and really the antithesis of that kind of person, a racist or whatever, it has become so commonplace. It like you using the word, oh, he's a racist. It is so commonplace now that it almost downplays.
Yeah, it's ineffectual now. It
doesn't have the same meaning that it once did.
There's an impetus to the word because it's impotence, literally, like that word would suggest. I mean, but it's just like, look, okay, I mean, maybe I'm not up to date on 2026 standards, but here's the deal, at least the way that I see it. If I am, if me calling out the goods and or services that come from a particular nation as being of subpar quality compared to other places around the world,
i.e. China,
if I am a racist for saying that, well, then, God damn it, I'm a racist, I guess, because I'm not backing down on what I believe to be just an absolute statement of analysis. It's, first of all, I mean, telling me to grow up, it's 2026. That's literally what they said. Grow up, it's 2026. Everything's made in China, and 99% of the world uses stuff from there, so it can't be all bad. You have lost your mind, Peaches. You've lost it. Because you're not able to, objectively think about anything at this point. You're so busy wanting to clad everyone as a racist or a thisist or a thatist that you've lost your objectivity. You've lost your ability to look at a situation and say, well, we've had 95 different VCRs, hun, and 94 of them were made in China, and they lasted about 2 months. But this one we got, this Zenith thing that we picked up used down at Burt's on the corner for $10, this was already 75 years old or 17 years old, and it's been running for the last. I mean, look, you cannot lose your objectivity to rash righteousness, to rash righteousness that's going to make you feel others are going to exalt you for this. Now you get to stand up and fold your arms in pride with your little cape flapping in the wind on your goddamn, you're just like, see, I called him out. I called him a racist. I did what you're supposed to do. I showed him.
Just for Peaches' sake, if Peaches is listening to the podcast, which I doubt she is, because she would have tuned out a long time ago.
We also don't know if it's a she or a he. I don't know that.
We don't know what her pronouns are or its pronouns are. So here's the thing that I would say to Peaches. Peaches, if Jack was indeed a racist, he would have said the following. those Asian cars aren't worth a shit. And that would have been racist. Because he would have been associating the car or product in question with the race of a generalized population. That would have been racist. Peaches. What you said was not racist.
Well, anyway, I digress. I just, it's
no,
it
but I mean, those are the things. It is
like
scary.
I said, no one likes to be called a racist. I've been called a communist many more times than I've been called a racist, but I've been called a lot of things. And look, I can take it. It's not a big deal to me. The issue that bothers me here is just the ignorance. It's it's the absolute just sleep that Peaches is walking through life in, because and again, it's easy for Peaches and others like them to turn around and say, well, this is just Jack trying to defend his racism. This is what people do when they want to defend their racism. Look, this is me saying, why don't you think a little bit more objectively about what you're so upset about?
Right.
You're literally telling me that because I made a joke where I said most people would consider, and this is exactly what I said too in the joke, I said most people would consider any car made in China worth taking a shit in. That was the joke, okay? And the whole crux of the joke is, guess what? Stuff that's made in China, not that great. Doesn't last for that long, falls apart. But, I forgot too this. The coup d'etat, the coup de ville.
Are we going back to Peaches?
On top of no, we're going back to my program manager. We're going back to my program director, who holds it in my face. Couldn't wait,
Right.
Look at this. What did you say? Someone called you a racist. You got pegged. And it's just like, yeah, you show me this after probably 17 nice things have been said in the last couple of months. I didn't see a lick of those. But anyway, then he says he has to top it by saying this. I'm already pissed off enough about Peaches after reading the email and going, oh, goddamn Peaches, what are you? I'm going to have to deal with this now. He says, he's not my boss, but the guy who runs the station.
Yeah, the brand manager.
Actually, they're manufacturing some of the best electric vehicles in the world in China right now. They could put ours to shame. I'm just, oh my God, will you give me a fucking break already?
So
between you and Peaches, you're killing me.
So we've played word association before, and regulars to the program will play. So, okay, racist? No. He was stereotyping. See, and if she would have said, you're stereotyping, I don't agree with you, you're stereotyping, then it would have been correct. But no, she had to use a charged word. She had to go to her quiver of words, and she chose racist. And in the context, Peaches, he was not being a racist. He was stereotyping.
Well, then I also have to be honest. I don't think about Chinese people until I have to encounter one to deal with. And it's like, oh, look at this. You're fucking Chinese. Okay, cool. What am I? I'm going to buy some food from you. I'm going to buy some egg rolls from you today. I'm going to buy, I'm walking into a store in Chinatown because I'm there with my girlfriend. And the guy in the market says, hello, nice day to you. And I say, hey, how's it going? It's like, hey, the guy's Chinese. Cool. All right. I mean, I don't have a racist bone in my body. And you know what? I'm not going to defend that by telling you about all of the causes and all of the different assortment of people that I know that are different. I've known some different races.
No, I know you're not
generally
racist.
Where we come from is as white as Idaho, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have a huge mix of people here, but I can tell you the line that I always say when people ever want to attack or assault in that way, I just say, listen, I don't have time to be a racist. I got too many other things on my mind that I'm thinking about besides how to separate a bunch of people who might look slightly different or, in whatever way are racially different from me, separated biologically, genetically from me, worried about how different they are and how much that bothers me. I don't have time to think about that. Why would I? That's an asinine thing to think about. I'm going to judge every person based on who they fucking are. All right? But I'm also not going to swallow this line. car 58, be on the lookout for a purse snatcher. We have a purse snatcher. A woman has just had her purse snatched. Yep. Okay. And the purse snatcher is in a neighborhood that is 99%, take your pick. I'm not going to say what, purple. Okay. 99% purple and 1% everything else. Okay, that's not going to then dilute my natural brain's ability to say, although it is possible that the purse snatcher is potentially one of these other colors, it is more than likely going to be a purple person because this neighborhood is 99% purple. That is not profiling. That is common sense. That is, hey, where are we right now? If you're on Mars and somebody runs into your space shuttle and there's only 3 astronauts there or 4 that are human,
likely,
and there's
it was
5 trillion Martians, likely it was a Martian. Fuck you. I mean, yeah. So we
Peaches.
We've lost our minds with
we
this
have.
stuff.
Well, it's
and
charged.
I know that it's a topic that we probably didn't want to talk about or shouldn't. Or
I think we should.
I'm not afraid to talk about it.
It's freedom of speech. It is one of the best things that a democracy offers. And our Constitution. You know what was happening is Peaches was infringing on your constitutional right, is what she was doing. She was infringing on your right to free speech.
That's the email I should send back.
Damn you, Peaches.
You're infringing on my red, white, and blue constitutional rights, you pit.
And guess what? Peaches, these colors don't run. They don't run at all. You know what? And that's the beautiful thing. Is it's like we live in a democracy, and people should be able to say, you know what? I don't agree with you, Jack, and that's okay. But to say that I don't agree with you and that you are an X, Jack, you are being a donut. You're being a donut because I'm choosing to call you a donut. No, Peaches, you're off base. You're off base,
so
Peaches.
Weak, and pathetic. It's just like, really? That's the best you can do is sling that. I mean, that's again how it initially hit me. Was just, oh my God, honestly. Anyway, all right.
One more time for Peaches. One more time for Peaches. Stereotype. Racist. No, he wasn't being racist.
Well, anyway. God bless Peaches. I wish them the best. I'm going to pray for them like all good, privately righteous people do, because they obviously need some help being objective about the world. And they're clearly very frightened because when a disc jockey on a classic rock radio station is taking to the airwaves and talking about the advent of a shitter, of a toilet built into a driver's seat of a car.
Wait a minute.
And just trying to have some fun with it.
Wait a minute. You did this on the classic rock station?
Yes.
I thought you did this on the AM.
No, I did this on the FM. Remember, the AM was the epiphanal, oh my God, I am working for the...
Oh, you did this on the classic rock? 99.9999% of the audience totally agreed with you, Peaches.
Yes, they did, but this one dissenter
That's why
didn't.
the aliens won't let us go
Well,
past the moon.
That's what you get, Peaches. Yeah, what is Peaches doing listening to the classic rock station?
I don't know.
She needs to go back to that low-frequency turtleneck station where they all talk like this, and they refer to their on-air programs as programs. Yes.
Well, if nothing else, both instances gave us something delightful to talk about on our own watch.
That's why we love them.
That's fine with me. I mean, life is what it is.
Better wear your mittens. It's going to be cold outside. This is Jack on the classic rock of the valley, hanging out in the cafe. What are we listening to?
Oh, you want me to play disc jockey for this? I'll pick up where you left off.
Okay, here we go. Should we do
Puker
this
time. Puker time.
Let's do this again. Here we go. Ready? One.
He wants to
Ready?
start it again.
Okay, we're gonna start from the top, folks. We're gonna start from the top. All right.
All right, starting from the top. Here we go.
3,
3,
2, and 1.
Hey, it's Jack Hansen rolling out your favorite hits of the morning time with you on this bitter cold valley day. Oh, get your shivering going there. Only about 42 degrees right now in most of the places that we're watching right now on our XL Energy Fast Temp Check. Hey, I want to send this one out to our friends out there in the world that are racist, just like me. This one comes to us from the mighty Magnum of the United Kingdom, long-standing band. Love the Hobbit-looking guy that fronts them. Yeah, this one's Peaches and Cream, baby.
Wow, he hit the post and everything. Holy cow! And he can't even see what the countdown is. He's that good.
It really is Peaches and Cream from Magnum. And we're dedicating this one to Peaches. May they continue to clad the racist assholes of the world as such.
See, that word...
But far less frequently.
That word has become so mainstay.
You know what? Here's an amazing fact that I'll share with you now of the future.
Okay.
I'll get over it.
All right.
I'll get over it. Don't worry.
Well, until we meet again, Peaches, Jack.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, until we meet again.
At Existence Brewing near you.
Well, it looks like Jack and Michael have finished up their latest chat about all things existence. But if anything they said got your own Existence Brewing, be sure and catch their other talks at existencebrewing.com and drop them an email to share your thoughts using contact@existencebrewing.com.
Existence Brewing.